Okay, second video today. The last one was the recap of the last 10 weeks of me dueling on the Warhammer and Great Axe. And guys, we need to have a chat. If you've commented or subscribed, it would be really nice to hear your opinion, because this is kind of the future going forward. So I'm just posing an option of something that we could do, because I feel like, I've gotten good on the melee. So is it time to think of maybe going back and trying Mage again? So I'm kind of really interested in if you're just liking the videos in general and you don't really care what weapons I play, or if you're a little bit like, and don't be afraid to say this, if you're like, dude, I kind of subscribed to see Warhammer Great Axe and that's what I want to see. I don't care which one you pick. I just really want you to answer. So please comment. Please comment and let me know what you think, because it'll sort of help me make my decision. But here's the reason why I think... Here's my argument for Mage, right? So I've spent the last 10 weeks learning to play melee. And I've learnt that from scratch, because for the last kind of 10, 15 years when I've played MMOs, I've always played a Mage. So in my heart, I'm a Mage, I think. And I think I've achieved my goal. Like when I started 10 weeks ago, my goal was to get good at dueling on the Warhammer Great Axe. And I think I can beat anyone now. Doesn't mean that I beat them all the time, but I can beat everyone. So I feel like I've gotten pretty good. And so, yeah, I guess the big question is, do I switch back to Mage? Because on the Mage, I'm a good Mage, right? I'll be good in wars. I'll be good in OPRs. I'll do good damage. I've always been very good at kiting, and I've always been good at not dying. That's been my problem, though, because I'm so good at sort of getting out of trouble. I've never really had to duel so much, because when I'm dueling, because I've never really got into a situation where they can get to me to duel me, because I always just sort of get out of it. So that was kind of the very impetus at the start to learn how to get good at dueling, which I've done on the Great Axe and Warhammer. Now, is it time for me to bring that back? Those skills that I've learned on the Great Axe and Warhammer, and all those techniques that I've learned on the Great Axe and Warhammer, do I now then bring that back to a kind of play style that I'm good at, but I wasn't good at dueling, and then apply them to the dueling to make a really well-rounded character? Do you know what I mean? Because I'm good at everything else on the Mage, I'm just not good at dueling. So do I get good at dueling and then sort of plug that hole, so to speak, and then I'm a good, well-rounded Mage? So that's kind of where my thinking is a little bit. So I'm going to go through, like a lawyer, I'm going to present my evidence, see what everyone says, and then maybe make a decision. And while I'm doing that, I'll be showing all sorts of videos, which leads me to my first argument. I've been playing Mage this week because I knew I was going to be doing the review videos. I've been playing Mage, and I've just found I've got a more diverse set of content to show you. I've got some good videos from OPR, I've got some good duels, and like what you're looking at here, I've got like a really good open world PvP that I got into, and I've done wars before in Mage, so that one advantage to playing Mage is I'll be able to bring in a lot more content from, like I just mentioned, like there'll just be more content that I can talk about. That includes Twitch streams too. Like I just don't know if I feel super confident streaming, other than streaming duels and stuff, streaming the melee, but I'd be more than happy to. I was streaming last night, my Mage, so, I feel like there's way more diverse content I'd be willing to do on the Mage. Okay. There are two things that I hate, right, in PvP, and I don't think are ever going to change, which the Mage is really good at. The two things are, I hate dying, and I know that you have to die to get better. I don't mind dying in a duel, but I really hate dying when I'm like in the open world or in OPR, right? And I don't know why, I just can't, it just really drives me crazy. And unfortunately, playing a melee class, especially a bruiser, you die a lot. Like, it's good if you've got your own healer, or if you're in a 5-man, or you've got like some good healers on your team, but you can't rely on that, right? you can't rely on that as a melee. Whereas on the mage, your survivability, I feel, is really in your own hands. Like, whether we're winning the OPR, our team's winning the OPR, or badly losing, I will do well on the mage, no matter what. No matter what. So that is one thing I really, really like about the mage. Okay, and that's just because the mage has so many capabilities of getting out of trouble. Someone gets close to you, you can turn yourself into entomb yourself. You've got ice shower, you've got ice storm, like you've got so many CCs. You've got your fire staff getaway ability, but the main thing is you're attacking from 20 meters. So it's like you can see people coming from you. Like I've got really, really good situational awareness. That's one thing, I've played a mage for 10 to 15 years, so I've gotten really good situational awareness, and I can sniff trouble coming my way from a mile away. And so I can just get away before they even get to me most of the time. So, yeah, as a mage, I really don't die a lot, unless, if I die, it's because I've done something really, really stupid. Or I'm just, like, not paying attention. And then the other thing that I really, really hate, so there's two things. So, dying is one thing that I really hate. And the second thing is, I don't like playing a class that just has, like, a hard counter that you just can't beat because that class just can't be beaten by that other class. For example, on the melee, I don't like the fact that, in medium armor at least, it's almost impossible to beat some ranged players. And it doesn't matter what you do, you're just not going to beat them. For example, I've beaten people on my mage that I could never kill on my melee, or I have big problems killing on my melee, but yet on my mage, it was relatively simple. Right, you might have classes that are difficult to beat on the mage, like the musket, but on the mage, you can beat everything, right? Everything is possible to be beaten. So those are the two main things that really draw me to mage. Well, I've already mentioned this, but I'll just mention it again, just in my little bits of why mage is cool. I just feel like mage is a better solo class. Melee, as I've said, is just really dependent on kind of your team composition. It's just the way the melee is. I feel like with mage, it's just a good solo class. You can do well whether your team's losing, winning, like, it's just a good solo class. And that's across the board. That's in duels, in open world, in wars, and in OPR. And that's the other thing. I feel like fights just happen way more organically on, the mage. Like, in this OPR, for example, I'm just there fighting, and then someone sort of comes and attacks me, and so then you get this nice little side 1v1, and I just noticed that just happens way more on the mage than it does as melee, so it just, again, it's more content, it's more dynamic in that respect. And I love the fact, too, like, the mage is just so good at applying a hell of a lot of AoE pressure, which I'm going to give you a little bit of example once this little 1v1 finishes. Okay, so look here. There's a group of people clumped up, outnumbering our guys. I throw a fireball, pillar of fire, and then I put down an ice storm after that. And you can just see, like, that's a hell of a lot of AoE damage on all of those people all at once. And I've honestly taken down, like, groups of people on the mage and done significant damage to them where they've had to back up. So you can really just single-handedly stop pushes, which I feel like is really, really, really impressive. So that's one of the things I definitely like about the mage. You also get those little 5-man groups running around thinking they're cool. And I've found, like, it's just brutal to have to go against them as a melee, but as a mage, I actually quite like seeing them because, like, for the reasons I just shown, you can apply a lot of AoE pressure right on top of them, and then it can just really ruin their day, and it can really stop their push. So, yeah, that AoE pressure from the mage is massive, and just the amount of damage that mages can put out in wars and in OPRs is impressive too. So, like, for example, look at this bad boy. I mean, like, almost 1.3 million damage in an OPR, 59 assists. Now, the kills weren't that high, but I mean, I get a lot of kills sometimes, just depends on the OPR, but 1.3 million damage in an OPR, think of how much damage someone's having to heal, like, through that if they're trying to heal it. That's a lot of damage, and that's the amount of damage a mage can put out. And also, yeah, I died 2 times in that. I think I looked at the rankings afterwards, and I died less than anyone else. And that's one of the reasons I do a lot of damage too, is because I've got a lot of uptime. But anyway, my point being, Another one, mages, big damage. And then really finally, it's just, you know, the kiting potential of mages, again, just leading to that good solo class. It's just good, that really amazing 1vx potential, because you have so many escapes and because you have so much AoE, you're able to kite away groups of people whilst also bringing them down through your big damage and keeping your range. So I just, yeah, like, so not only are they good 1v1, they're also like just really good 1vx class. So that would be the, yeah, and just good at kiting. So that would be the final kind of like pro for playing mage. Okay, and then here are some of the negatives of playing mage, and obviously this is why I'm showing my melee class right now, because, you know, I like the melee class too, so I'm happy to keep playing it. I just thought I'd present my arguments for mage. The main thing that I put up about playing mage is I've got a bit of stormtrooper aim, so I'm not the best aiming person in the world, which is what I like about melee, is like you don't really have to aim so much. But I did zoom in actually on my mage, and all of a sudden my aim got really, really good. So I think, you know, that could be a work in progress. That could be something I could work on. I'm sure, just like with the melee, if I really did 10 weeks of dueling on the mage, for example, I would improve on that. I think with melee, when it's good, it's like real good. You know what I mean? Like, nothing beats just charging into a group of people and smacking them with your axe and hammer. It's just the problem with the melee. It's just that whole being a little bit more dependent on your team and not having that many escape mechanisms. Like, it is a bit more of a group spec, I think, the Warhammer Hammer and Great Axe. So when it's bad, it can be really bad, you know. But when it's good, it can be really good. If you don't mind dying several times in an OPR, then it's not a problem. But I don't know, I really hate it. It's hard to drum out of me after playing a mage for 15 years where it didn't die. The other thing that's pro melee and maybe negative mage. Now, this is what I'm wanting to ask everyone. That's what I want people to comment. Like, I just get this feeling that melee is a bit more fun to watch than mage. I feel like maybe mage is a bit boring to watch. But I don't know, let me know what you think. And then the other advantage too with melee is that it's got a lot of burst, whereas I feel like mage lacks that burst. So I guess if in a 1vx situation or an OPR situation, you can get down, you can bring people down really, really quickly. So I like that aspect of it. Okay, so please, if you've made it through this far, scroll down, type a comment, tell me what your thoughts are. If you think you'd rather just see me play melee, I'm fine with playing melee. I like melee. But if you think, oh, it'd be cool to see you play mage as well, then say that. Please leave a comment. I would really appreciate it. Yeah, because basically the big question is, do I just carry on my journey as a melee and keep improving? Or shall I give mage a try for, say, 3 episodes? Because, you know, we've got 3v3 arenas coming out, and it's just like, should I give mage a try and see how I go with that and then make a decision? Or, you know, just let me know what you think. I'd really, really appreciate it. Yeah, so thank you very much once again for watching the video, and I will see you all later.